Almost nobody talks about this, but what if the very healthy cooking oil you've been pouring onto your breakfast eggs and into your morning smoothies, the one proudly displayed as a heart-friendly choice in grocery stores, has actually been silently sabotaging your cardiovascular health for years, especially after turning 60? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? What if everything you believed about protecting your heart was subtly wrong because of one simple everyday ingredient? You won't want to miss the final habit, or 99% will miss the last tip and will be stuck with hardened arteries for life. It's a frustrating realization to discover that something we've consciously chosen for our well-being might be working against us. We're taught from a young age to prioritize certain fats, to lean away from others. But the landscape of nutritional advice is constantly shifting. Sometimes, what's presented as beneficial today quietly reveals its true nature decades down the line. Consider, for a moment, the sunny bottles lined up in the supermarket aisles. They often promise light texture, zero cholesterol, and a boost to your heart. These are often processed vegetable and seed oils. We reach for them because the packaging, the marketing, and even past dietary guidelines have subtly assured us they are the best option for a healthy lifestyle, especially as we age. Yet, there's a growing understanding, hidden away from the mainstream spotlight, about how some of these seemingly benign oils can quietly, persistently inflame your body. Inflammation, particularly low-grade chronic inflammation, isn't just about aches and pains. It's a silent force that works beneath the surface of our arteries. Think of your arteries as smooth, pristine pipes carrying life-giving blood throughout your body. When chronic inflammation is present, fueled by certain dietary choices, these smooth surfaces become slightly irritated and rough. This irritation creates tiny, sticky spots where plaque made of cholesterol and other substances can begin to accumulate. Over time, these deposits grow. They're like little speed bumps turning into larger roadblocks. This process, often unnoticed until a significant event, is precisely what leads to hardening and narrowing of the arteries. After 60, our bodies are often less resilient to these cumulative assaults. The common belief has been to avoid saturated fats and cholesterol for heart health. This led many people, and rightly so, to seek alternatives. But the alternative many embraced, those ubiquitous vegetable oils derived from corn, soy, canola, safflower, and sunflower, introduced their own set of complex problems. The key lies in something called omega-6 fatty acids. Our bodies need omega-6s, but in balance with omega-3s. For much of human history, our diets provided these fats in a roughly 1-to-1 ratio. Our modern diet, rich in these processed vegetable oils, often delivers a staggering ratio, sometimes 20-to-1 or even 50-to-1, in favor of omega-6. This profound imbalance is a major driver of chronic inflammation. When consumed in such large quantities, particularly from highly processed sources, these oils don't behave innocently. They become unstable when heated, easily oxidizing and creating compounds that damage cells and accelerate arterial damage. Imagine cooking with an oil that every time it touches heat, releases tiny inflammatory agents into your food and then into your body. This happens subtly, meal after meal, day after day, for years. This sustained bombardment can eventually take a significant toll, especially on delicate structures like arterial walls. Many people dismiss this because they don't feel an immediate effect. You don't get a headache or a stomach ache from a cooking oil in the same way you might from a food allergy. The damage is cumulative, quiet, and insidious, making it easy to overlook for decades until the consequences become harder to ignore. It's an uncomfortable truth that many of these heart-healthy oils, specifically labeled as such or widely promoted, actually promote the very conditions we're trying to avoid as we age. Their widespread use in processed foods, restaurant cooking, and our own kitchens means we're constantly exposed. The paradox is that for decades, we've been told to opt for light oils for breakfast, often to fry eggs or mix into a pancake batter, precisely the moments we want to start our day feeling vital. Switching from butter to a margarine or a clear vegetable oil was once championed as a protective measure. But here's an unexpected insight. Traditional fats, those that our ancestors consumed for millennia, often hold secrets our modern, industrialized food system has forgotten. Think about natural fats, like real butter, ghee, or even quality olive oil that has been carefully sourced. These have different fatty acid profiles and vastly different chemical behaviors. The issue isn't all fats, but the type of fat and how it's processed. When fats are chemically extracted at high temperatures, often using solvents, they become delicate and prone to oxidation even before they reach your pantry. Then, when you heat them again for cooking, their instability significantly increases. The consequences of consistently choosing these unstable oils often manifest more starkly after the age of 60. Arteries that once had a degree of flexibility begin to stiffen more readily. Blood pressure may become harder to control. The groundwork for heart disease that began decades earlier finally starts to show its face. You might feel frustrated, perhaps a bit betrayed by the information you've received. That's a completely natural and valid feeling. It's hard to change ingrained habits, especially when those habits have been presented as beneficial. But understanding this hidden complexity is the first step toward genuine protection. What if your simple morning choices, unknowingly guided by misleading health claims, are a contributing factor to feeling sluggish, less energetic, or experiencing persistent discomfort? Recognizing this isn't about blaming yourself, but about empowering you to make informed decisions moving forward. It means stepping back from the convenience and the historical narrative and looking more closely at what's actually in the bottles you pick up. If a label says vegetable oil, it almost certainly contains a blend of highly processed, inflammation-driving seed oils that are better left out of your daily routine. So how can you discern the truly beneficial from the silently harmful? It's simpler than it sounds. Focus on fats that are minimally processed and have been around for generations. Fats that are solid at room temperature or that come from fruits, not just seeds, offer a clearer path. Consider high-quality extra virgin olive oil for cold applications or low-heat cooking. For higher heat, traditional animal fats like lard or tallow, or oils like avocado oil, which has a very high smoke point and a beneficial fatty acid profile, become far better allies for your heart. Coconut oil is another excellent choice. It's not just about what you eliminate, but what you thoughtfully choose to include. By making conscious shifts away from these widely marketed seed oils, you interrupt that relentless cycle of inflammation, giving your arteries a chance to heal and stay pliable, even into your later years. The most potent insight often isn't complex, but rather a return to fundamental principles. Our bodies are incredibly resilient, but they also respond profoundly to the raw materials we feed them. Choosing fats closer to their natural state helps support the delicate balance our bodies crave. Understanding this hidden truth means reclaiming agency over your health choices. It's about becoming a detective in your own kitchen, examining ingredient lists not just for what's obvious, but for those stealthy additions that over time can contribute to significant health challenges. When you begin to actively reduce your intake of these inflammatory oils, you might notice subtle shifts in how you feel. More consistent energy, perhaps less general inflammation throughout your body, and a renewed sense of confidence that you are truly supporting your heart's long-term health. Many assume that if something is widely available and cheap, it must be acceptable. But in the world of food and health, availability and cost often align with industrial processes, not always with what's genuinely beneficial for human physiology, particularly for arteries over 60. This realization loops back to the beginning, that healthy breakfast oil that silently sabotages your heart. It was never truly healthy in the way you were led to believe. It was a product of convenience, a misplaced solution that ultimately created more problems than it solved. Taking control means challenging these widespread misconceptions and empowering yourself with knowledge that respects the intricate workings of your own body. Your arteries deserve protection, and it starts with every small decision you make, even down to the oil in your morning pan. Choosing well doesn't require a radical overhaul. It asks for thoughtful substitutions. It's a gentle, consistent commitment to giving your body the foundational building blocks it truly thrives on, leading to arteries that remain youthful and vibrant, supporting your health for years to come. This empowers you to protect your heart, not just now, but throughout your entire life, by understanding a simple yet profoundly impactful choice: Subscribe. Which advice will you start applying today?